We live in an age where those in power are openly using every weapon at their disposal to impose their will upon the future. Where the principles of authoritarianism and individualism stand in open conflict in the streets, in the courts, in the news, in everyday life. Where the choices we make and the choices that are made for us have consequences no one can foresee. You do not stand alone. You do not fight alone. You do not suffer alone. We are united. We resist. We are here with you. As long as there is a truth that remains hidden, as long as lies are spread openly, we will continue to speak out. We will continue to question. We will continue to be the united resistance.
I can't hear you. Not if you can hear me. Okay, so you can hear me, but I can't hear you. I'm working on it. I don't know. Yeah, it's not one thing, it's your fucking headphones.
That's because we're supposed to be muted.
I got you. I don't know what I did, but it's done and it works. Hey, we're on!
What do you want to do now, Cap?
The same thing we always do.
Especially the fact that it actually works.
Fight them until we can't.
You know, damn it, Will had to ruin the fucking intro, of course, because he's talking over it, but that's okay. You know, we're here, we're live, and, you know, if everything looks like...
I didn't even know we were on, I'm sorry.
If everything looks like it's a jury rigged in my house, that's because right now, folks, it is. Because, like, you could probably hear it echo. That's because it's empty. Mainly because, we are moving. And, yes, I'm sitting in the dark because when I turn this overhead light on, it's going to glare like a royal SOB. And I don't want that. I tried it with light and without. So, you have me in the dark. I'm actually sitting on a really hard-ass folding chair because, I have my laptop on my computer chair because I have no more computer desk because that got given away today. So I have like pretty much nothing left down here. I have a bunch of stuff still in my garage. That has to be sold off in the next 2 days. And it looks like probably by Monday, I'm going to be out. And hopefully within a day or so after that, the closing procedure will begin. But yeah, pretty much the challenge until then is going to be to get over this last hump. Obviously, be able to eat these next few days because in the situation I'm in, I pretty much, again, I have nothing. So yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. But, in a week, I'll have something. As of right now, I don't. So we'll get to that here in a minute. I want to say hi to everybody. As far as the viewers, Big John is here. Hello, Big John. Tobet is here. Death Angel Shadow is here. And hail to all of you. Radioactive is here. Low Spec Linux Laptop is here. Terminus Est is in the house. Great to see Terminus. CJH is here. Sci-Fi Nation is here. Joe, Australia's most haunted former host and, Mr. Everything of all hats in that show is here. And by the way, props to Joe because he actually helped with our live report from East Palestine. So I want to give him all the credit in the world for that. Also, Bear Nerd Fun is here. What is going on, Bear? Sean Estep is here. Great to see Sean Estep in the house. And let's see if that is everybody so far. So, the thing is, like right now, I think I'm getting out at the right time because tonight's topic, and we're gonna talk about the 15-minute city because right here in Cleveland, they had a city plan to do that, and it's funny how they kind of slip it under the radar to the residents. Now, I often, as Will and I are pretty much local in this area, we can speak to the fact of what exactly is happening with this. And see, hey, Rennie, how are you? Hey, it's great to see Rennie. And Tyrod, how you doing, buddy? Great to see you both. And yeah, the 15-minute city concept, it goes right along with the Great Reset. And to give you guys some background, so let's say you take a metropolitan city the size of like Cleveland. All right. Well, Cleveland is ideal because number one, it's a Rust Belt city. And it was one of those that relied on a lot of shipping, the steel mills, that type of industry. Now, I can tell you because my city, which is basically a smaller version of Cleveland, which is Lorain, same kind of city. There was a big United States steel mill here. There was a decent-sized harbor for shipping. There was once a shipyard here. This town actually, in World War II, had a shipyard and built warships and also built many of the things and smaller ore carriers for the Great Lakes at one time. George Steinbrenner, of all people, actually owned American shipbuilding when it was here for many years. Then, when the recession bubble came, and thank you for the super chat, CJ, I will go ahead and read that here in 1 second. When the recession bubble came, especially 2008 bubble, all right, so you take these industries and all of a sudden they're gone. The auto industry, the Ford plants are closing. The shipping industry no longer can sustain a town. The steel mills can no longer sustain a town. So for somebody like the depopulationist globalists, they can sit here and say, okay, well, what can we do with the town that's in a bad way? Well, we could turn it into one of our nice little centralized super cities, but not necessarily a super city, but the 15-minute city, which means everything within a certain radius. Guess what? They want to concentrate all the people living in a certain radius of everything. And their big catch-all tagline is that, hey, you're within this of commerce and shopping and and everything's convenient. They're selling convenience, but what they're not telling you, all right, is that everything is service-based. And they're also not telling you the effect this has on the poor neighborhoods, which means more and more of those are going to get left by the wayside, left to fend for themselves. And, oh, by the way, what we're not going to use, we'll knock down. So then those people get displaced even further. It's sinister and shitty across the board. But they want to sell it to the brain dead, like younger Gen Zers and later earlier millennials or later millennials, the later millennials is the back half, and Gen Zers will eat this shit up. So, that's the thing. And sci-fi, you're spot on. That's what we're talking about. You're talking about mass gentrification here, but they don't care.
It did remind me of that G word. What you were saying. You sound like you were describing something else. Oh yeah, that gentrification.
Yeah, and this is the stuff that they don't tell you. But this falls in line because the more you centralize people and keep them in one small radius and location, the more you can, A, have them under control, and B, you have a bunch of people at any point that you can easily kill off. Now, think about it that way. I mean, it's really sinister, folks. And this is an idea that is not just being kicked around Cleveland; it's being kicked around other cities. But Cleveland apparently are the ones that are going to take it because guess what? They offered them more federal money to do so. CJH for $2 Canadian says it looks like my city is slowly becoming one. And yes, all you have to do is pay attention. Pay attention to how many skyscrapers are going up, how many things are being huddled closer together in your city as far as shopping and business and things like that. It's
what also doesn't help in Cleveland is that for those of you who don't know, we have a mayor, Mayor Bibb, who is
major
he's about that amongst other things. He's two things that would favor a move like this being in Cleveland. He's young, he's inexperienced,
and he's black, and he's Democrat.
Oh, I thought everybody already knew that.
So I mean. Let's
wait. No one else is getting. I just have a question. Is he related to the guy that used to be on Channel 5 News?
Probably. I don't know.
I thought he was. Yeah, Leon Bibb. That's him.
Yeah, but the
so
point,
that now so he's also into nepotism, I guess. There you
go. But the point is this is really concerning, and this is scary because if this happens to Cleveland is a big enough city that this can happen just about anywhere, and that is a very big concern. You may not have to worry about it necessarily happening in New York right away, but eventually this model will go to the major, huge cities as well. So, they're using Cleveland as a test bed, and let me see if I can go ahead and share up this tweet when I found this earlier, because I actually retweeted this the other day. I actually got some really good feedback on this too. There was a lot of good engagement with this tweet. So let me scroll down my timeline and find it, because I really want to share this with you guys, because it's very concerning to me. So yeah, it's this is one of those things where this really puts the Great Reset right in front of your eyes. So, all right, here we go. We'll go ahead and share this up. Present. Share screen. And by the way, I'm not going to boomer it, guys, so don't worry. Yay! All right, let me go ahead and play this.
The time is now to tap into federal dollars to address some of Cleveland's deeper problems.
Imagine a Cleveland where everything you need is less than 15 minutes away.
It's this ideal planning framework where human needs and desires are accessible within a 15-minute walk, bicycle ride, or transit trip. And that's really what we're striving for in this new planning model.
City planner Matt Moss says it doesn't have to be a dream. Instead of a concrete jungle where people work and separate places where people live, in a 15-minute city, everything is closer.
And it's starting out with the city we have now, and then asking residents how they might want their community to grow or change in ways that, again, make things more accessible or provide them with more opportunities to access the things they want to get to in their day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Oof.
So that is your 15-minute city.
Do you know what that came off? That came off almost as like, you ever see those old commercials for, I don't know if they were timeshares or just like gated communities, like, you know, you have your very own swimming pool, you have your very own tennis court, you have, you know, you never need to leave the gates.
Well, you know, Death Angel Shadow asked a great question here. He said, how many residents are going to be displaced by that? And that's exactly it. You know,
how many of them are poor and destitute?
Yeah. I mean, Cleveland and Death Angels, this is like, my city's the same way. But Cleveland is 3 times the size of Lorraine. So if you take Lorraine's poverty problem and already, you know, bad housing situation with a lot of the neighborhoods being run down and impoverished, and multiply that times 3, plus however much they're going to need to clear out in order to reconfigure the city in this manner. I mean, that's ridiculous. And then, you know, Low Spec says, live in the pod, you have no reason to go anywhere. Pinochet's helicopter tour says, how does a 15-minute city force a farmer to provide food? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
So that cuts the farmer out of it. CJH says 15-minute city, anyone not in it will be killed. Now you're getting it, buddy. Exactly. Radioactive says more accessible, more opportunities, more surveillance, more control of you. Exactly.
Ooh.
That is another great point, Radioactive. Joe says, talking to Terminus, he says, well, they ruin the sources you rely on. Food, produce, crops, cattle, poultry, water, contaminate it, and you'll end up leaving and moving to an allocated smart city. Exactly. And that's what, you know, gets lost in the shuffle here, guys. We wonder why all of these attacks on the infrastructure, why all of these convenient accidents as they say that they are. And Sci-Fi, thank you for the $5 super chat. I will read it in just a second here. You ask yourself, why is all this happening? Well, this is a big reason why. They want to herd people towards these types of cities.
Internment camps. No, sorry, that's not it. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's no better, Will, than
Not
an
really.
internment camp.
In the end, it will be no better.
Sci-Fi
It'll degress to that. Yeah.
Sci-Fi
Regress,
Nation
whatever.
for 5 American says, let's displace residents through gentrification and let them lean even more heavily on underfunded government programs for housing, food, medical care, etc. Yes, that's exactly the plan.
On top of the ones that already exist.
And because guess what? The resources on those programs, you guys, are finite. A lot of people that are like, for example, on food stamps, Medicaid, whatever, they think that there's just no bottom to that program. Like it just grows on trees. But eventually that money runs out. And what happens when that money runs out? Well, at that point, you've got nothing left. And, then they're going to say, oh, I'm sorry. Well, we've now established a maid hotline here. You can just call and have yourself an assisted death because we can't sustain you. That's what that's why Canada rolled out their MAID program.
Yeah, and there's no bailout coming. You're not a major bank. You're not a financial institution.
Right.
The ghost of Harry Reid isn't going to help you. Sorry.
That assisted suicide hotline is there not for people, not to help anyone. It's there to kill off people. I mean, this is in the open. This is a setup for legal genocide, is what you're talking about here. Joe said, you'll have Bill Gates and his Ecolab food companies to provide food. Growing your own food will be made illegal. Yes, they will. They will definitely put more hoops on that, Joe. Absolutely. It might not be flat out illegal, but they will put so many hoops on it. It makes it so that people, it's not worth anybody's time or money to be able to do that. The Time Prophet says you cannot even go and visit your family if they are in a different zone. And that may be a restriction as well, Time Prophet. I mean, when we look at how far this could go, none of it, if you go down this rabbit hole, is good. None of it is good at all. Don't worry about the farmers. Geez, we will all be able to eat insects. Bill Gates will look after the farmland and we will have nothing and we will like it, says Tyron Lethbridge. And you know what, Tyron, that's the mindset these people want you to have, to basically march happily to your death. Do. Let's march along to die. That's what they want. Who's buying up thousands of private farmland in the U.S. right now? Bill Gates. That's who. Look it up. Exactly. And it's right there. There's plenty of stories on what Bill Gates is doing. In the face of moral governments, people are expendable property to which they can destroy whatever they want. Yes, exactly, Tehillim. CJH says, I think they gave up on Project Bluebeam because too many eyes on it. Well, right now, it's funny, that that wave of alien contact seemed to have settled down, didn't it? Isn't that funny how that
definitely
works?
tapered off.
But our amount of industrial accidents certainly doubled in that time span, which again, that isn't fishy at all. I mean, my God. Oh, geez, oh man. Go ahead, Will, because I know you want to probably chime in.
It would have been a lot easier to chime in if you hadn't said everything I was about to say just now.
Well, go ahead and give your take on it, though, because I know that
it's just so many things. To me, and obviously the secret's out. I'm I'm somewhat less informed than our other way this than our esteemed host here.
Or so he
But
says.
Huh?
I
What's
said,
that?
or so he says, according to
That's what she said. Anyway, no, but it just comes off to me, who's a little bit more of a layman in this. It reeks of so many different things we've seen that have been considered legit and accepted over the last many decades, and now they're using all of these things, calling it something else. Right now, as of right now, really, no one's. I don't even know what that means. Nobody's the wiser.
Hey, Time Prophet gave you a compliment. He said he would buy ice cream from you.
I don't. What does that? Does that just mean what does that mean? I'm friendly and I look good in a paper hat.
He said he's basically telling you look believable. Now, if he said he'd eat ice cream off you, then I'd worry.
Well, for a second, I saw ice cream. I was like, the guy's making a fat joke, isn't he? No, no, he's not. Well, anyway, thank you, Time Prophet. I lost my train of thought. Back to you, bro.
CJH says Russia admitted the war is to fight the NWO, and yeah, they're right about that. Sci-Fi Nation for $5 American. Thank you again, Sci-Fi Nation, for the super chat. He says Kevorkian was convicted 20 years ago for assisted offing oneself. These folks want to make it the norm. I don't always agree with Drew, but shit is real. Yeah, I mean, sci-fi, it's fucked up. If you look what's happening in Canada, that whole concept of the maid hotline is, oh my God, dude, it's ghoulish. It's fucking ghoulish. That's all I can say. I mean, just across the board. And they're targeting like disabled veterans with it. They're targeting, people with depressive issues, all of that. They're like leaning into it, trying to get these people to accept the assisted suicide way out. Oh, it's a dignified way to die. Your problems will be over. I mean, it's crazy. CJH says, remember, all this started with Isaac Cappy, Tom Hanks in the pedophilia connection, and Epstein. Yes, that's a lot of it. Shawnee Step was left to think about the ice cream thing. Time Prophet.
By the way, I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Terminus said to Time Prophet, they're even making cricket ice cream. Saw that on Twitter this morning. Time Prophet says, I thought Will had his ice cream selling uniform on. He's making fun of your Yankees jersey. Time Prophet is from the UK, awesome. By the way.
That's why I wear it. I love feedback, positive and negative.
Yeah.
I never heard it. I will say I've never heard it referred to as something that you could that you'd sell ice cream in.
Tyron Lethbridge says, "I am so glad Klaus Schwab wants to so bad be a part of my life." Uncle Klaus, I am your Uncle Klaus. You will eat nothing. You will want nothing. You will be happy. You will be a master of tomorrow. Oh my God, Uncle Klaus. The New York.
You can always rely on him for a nice birthday card, though.
The New York Yankees baseball outfit is ice cream vendor's uniform down under. Says Joe.
Is it?
Yeah. Death Angel Shadow says instead of treating people with mental issues, they're pushing them off the cliff. Yes, exactly. Time Prophet says, I won't eat Z-bugs. Yeah. CJ says, wow, the maid hotline is also available for kids too without parental consent. Now that is just straight effed up.
Beautiful.
Sci-fi. Just switch to Cricket Mobile. Death Angel Shadow hates the DH rule.
Not exactly relevant, but I agree.
Papa Cotton says there's only one way to deal with pedos, and calling the cops ain't it. Well, I agree with that, dude. I think we all agree with that. Everybody in this
Lock and
damn
load.
chat agrees with that.
Lock and load.
You know, here's the thing. All right, I just hope that everybody is thinking along the lines now of getting prepared. You know, like Rennie, Tyron, I hope you guys, you know, have a backup plan. I hope you guys have backup supplies. You know, I know that Joe knows what time it is with this stuff, and he's prepared. Time Prophet, I hope you are. Papa Cotton, I hope you are. You know, Tehillim, I hope you are. Because it doesn't matter what country we're in. Okay, you know, the thing is, this is happening globally. This is a global issue. So, yes, Joe's giving Will props. Yes, hail Will for filming in widescreen where Drew didn't contend.
That's why I'm his producer.
Yeah.
He only hires the best. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, Sideway Nation says, you mean turning the phone sideways? Yes.
You think I'm doing this on my phone?
Death Angel Shadow said, I got my greenhouse frame up, just need to build the boxes and start planting. My peach trees are blooming and pear tree is about to start. Awesome.
Oh, that sounds good.
Rennie, you're very welcome. You know, Rennie, you've been my friend a long time, and I care about you, girl. I care about all of you. You know, you guys, to me, you're not just an audience, you're my friends. So, yes, I care what happens to you. And I'm just telling you, you know, this is why we do things like United Resistance. This show is important. The subject matter we talk about. It isn't comfortable. Nobody likes to hear the truth that we're on the doorstep of being annihilated. Nobody wants to hear that. It's not pleasant news. Okay? I understand that. But look, if somebody doesn't give it to you real, if somebody doesn't cut through the bullshit and say, look, this is what's happening in your world, and there's not somebody there to say, you know, put on the glasses, then, you know, what are they doing? They're not serving you as media. They're not serving you in the capacity to help you out. So somebody's got to say something. And that's why I hope that more people, you know, jump on that same kind of train that myself and Wes Moody and people like Hopcast and some of the other people that I know that do politics and current event content are on. Because listen, we can sit in this sphere and talk about pop culture all day. We can bitch about Picard Season 3 or talk about The Mandalorian Season 3. That shit doesn't matter. It's minutia. It is distraction. The shit that matters is what's happening next door to you, what's happening in your street, what's happening in your downtown. That is what matters. And if you zoom out and take the 40,000 foot view, what's happening in your world matters, because it may be another country, but guess what? When the stuff hits the fan in that other country, it's coming to you next. So that's why this is important. That's why I have the passion in here to do it, and I'm going to continue to.
He's doing it. Listen, I was in that room. It's a dark room with nothing in it. He's still doing it. What more evidence do you need?
The Time Prophet says, I am prepared. I got 6 guitars that can bash people over the head with them. You know, there's something to be said for that, man. I have a romantic view of guitars, man. I like guitars. I always wanted a Dimebag Darrell replica guitar. I always did. That was the one guitar I wanted. That or I wanted a Flying V. I never did have a Flying V. Actually, I take that back. I did at one time have a Flying V. The CJ8 says, bring back Sickest of All. And I did at one time have a website, Sickest of All, that I was doing news on. And yes, that is still parked. And I can bring that back at any time. And I may very well bring that back and start writing news articles on there again. And CJ, you're welcome to write on that site should I bring that back. Tyron Lethbridge says, I am working on getting Rennie geared up. I've always had my bug out gear and a Z-Day plan. We all need to be prepped. Yes, exactly. Which is why when I leave here, I'm leaving Lorain because it's too far north. I want to be next to the mountains, and that's why I'm going to Tennessee, to be right near the Smokies, because if shit hits the fan, I can bug out into the mountains, boom, chill out in the Smokies for a while, make camp if I have to, and live that way. And that is what is, it's important. The survival is important.
Kaczynski style, minus the letter bombs.
Australia is as big as the U.S. We only live in 2% of its landmass. Good luck to the tyrants trying to find us in the bush and round us up. Yeah, let's see here. Terminus S says, this is why I wish I was financially established years ago, so I could be prepared for the times we are in right now, but alas, I can't. And listen, I know what hardship's like, Terminus. I've been through it the past year, and I'm still going through it. But, I'm going to make up for lost time when things stabilize, and that's all you can do. I mean, yeah, it's late in the game, but keep that in mind. When you get on firmer ground, you can make up for lost time. CJ says, I don't do politics on my channel and focus on entertainment because Canada is too strict. Yeah. Well, Canada has gone pretty much the way of totalitarianism. Justin Trudeau is in every measurable way a dictator, even though he presents himself as a democratic leader. Sci-Fi Nation points out, if you think you're being distracted, you probably are. The MSM are masters of distraction. Correct. Tyron Lethbridge talking to Joe said, Joe, I miss the bush so bad, but Rennie and I are getting a wood cabin in the woods by the river on the weekend. I'll be hunting wabbits. Nice.
Wascally ones.
Time Prophet says Britain is getting very close behind Canada. CJ says, I wonder if any of the people on the news as missing people are just people who tried to get away from the government and go into hiding. Death Angel Shadow said, yep, I could be in the forest in minutes, in the mountains, and not too much more. Absolutely. It's funny, and I'll tell you guys here in a second. Joe says, lucky you didn't have me on the show. I wouldn't shut up on these subjects, Drew. No, and you know what, Joe? One of these times, when we come back from hiatus, because by a little programming note, guys, I am going to probably take a couple-week hiatus after tonight's program because I need to get shit situated, get stuff together, and once I do that, I'll get back to streaming. But obviously, this next week, 2 at the most, is going to be moving week. We've already begun the process of getting stuff in the storage facility, and things are so helter-skelter hectic right now. It's just hard for me to even find the time to live stream.
And after that, it'll be show wrap on Ohio resistance.
Yes. Godzillionaire says, and hail Godzillionaire. Drew is going to be the Y station living on the mountaintop. You know what, dude?
I can't believe I never thought of that with the big robe and like the giant walking stick that has like a ball on the top.
Yeah.
Do it.
Get a bunker up there because nukes will drop. Yeah, dude. You can scoff at it now, but what CJ says with that comment, you guys, we are a heartbeat away from World War III right now. And I hate to kick it to you in that sense, but that's fact. We're a heartbeat away from World War III, and that's because the people that are trying to instigate it are really, really just being so careless in trying to push lines so one blinks, and then it takes us right down that road. And we are so close.
You said it, though. I mean, the fact is, as organized as this whole plot against people like you and me seems, it is extremely disorganized, and they're going a million miles an hour in every direction. And it's that kind of disorganization that could lead to, you blink and all of a sudden.
Hey, Terminus, don't get your balls electrocuted by a bolt of lightning, please. Thank you. Small Time Republic says, hail to Small Time Republic. How are you, sir? Great to see you. I bet most of our sky and weather is fake, and the real sky is the heavens. Pinochet's
weather control machine. What a novel concept.
Pinochet's helicopter tour says, a sincere question. Should we honestly help or care for those who are in the cities? Part of me wants social Darwinism to take its course and ravage the cities to ashes. Less guilt on my conscience. And you know what? Listen, I get that attitude too, my brother, because I get so frustrated with people right now because there's so many that don't see the forest for the trees, or they're living in their bubble of comfort, or it's just, willful ignorance, or the brainwashing is too much, whatever. But they just march along right to their doom. And it's like, man, how can you not even question? You gotta ask questions.
Is that what it's come to now? We're going to sacrifice the cities to save the country?
Well, I certainly would. I have to show you my prepper vehicle I have stored away in my barn, ready to go. No computer control either. Just a coil, fuel, oil, water ignition. Gotta love the Chevy Suburban. Yep. Old school Suburbans are the shit. Yeah, I know, man. Crazy how that works, isn't it? Sci-fi, my goodness.
A Manson thing, ain't that the truth?
Yeah. Hail, Dwayne. Good to see you. I hope you and Rita are doing well.
Well, I guess unless they're in Des Moines or Cedar Rapids or Dubuque, I guess they're safe, right?
Well, of course they did, Time Prophet. He contributed to that. Because remember, the Ukraine, you can say what you want, but we can go back to this point, guys. Even before we found out there was a fuck ton of biolabs there. Think about this. They've always been, the Eastern European den of corruption. They're a corruption capital around the entire globe. Most all of the criminals that Interpol went after per capita operated out of the Ukraine or somewhere along those lines. So, my goodness. Of course, it's one of the capitals of international crime. And yes, you better believe he helped start the war because of, again, this was greed and status and all of the stuff that his family went after. It's all about power to them and wealth. Power and wealth. That's all it is.
Either he had a hand of starting the war, or they just waited till he went to bed at 7:30 at night and then did everything else after that.
Death Angel's Shadow said, "There's a cave about 8 minutes up the way from me." You'll have to show me that, dude, when I get down there.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I like those caves. I like the caves on them chicks. No, never mind. No, the Big John's right. A lot of human trafficking happens in the Ukraine. Resolute Germ says a lot of the people here are too afraid to even think the lefties may be wrong. It's like they think they will get sent to the cornfield or something. No, more like getting sent to the gulag, dude. Zelensky makes our corrupt politicians look like saints. Yes, he does. You know, he was brought up, Jay, Sci-Fi Nation, he was brought up through the World Economics Forum's, it was right through their Young Global Leader program. He was groomed for this. Now remember, the guy is a former actor. Why would they recruit a former, actor? Why would they want that? Because he's good at playing roles. They wanted him to play this role.
So what you're saying is that's like the only similarity between him and Ronald Reagan?
Yeah, except Ronald Reagan was genuine.
That's my point. That's why, like I said, only similarity.
Pinochet's helicopter tour says, since socialism is the end goal of these elites, we need to come up with a cool label for them, something that stings and brings up scars from history. I propose calling the WEF types kulaks. Nice.
It's a good start. It's a good jumping off point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, this shit should really concern everybody, and I hope that more people are in process of waking up to just what exactly all of this entails. And I want to kind of segue into what we did. If you guys haven't watched it, on the channel I uploaded a few days ago the report that we did from East Palestine. And I would like for you guys at your leisure to review that on the channel and sit down and just watch it. About 16 minutes long. And Will and I went down there. We checked the water. We went and we attended the town hall at that point as well. And everything. And this was the night that they had that big town hall. This is Wednesday. This was about 7 days out from the actual disaster. We went down on what was it?
It was
February 15th.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was the day after Valentine's Day.
Wow, it's been that long?
Yes.
Jeez. It's been 2 weeks. It's been more than 2 weeks. Okay. So yeah, 2 weeks ago, yesterday. There you go.
Yeah, so make sure that you check that out.
In case you're wondering, I still have all five fingers and all five of my toes. So
yeah, Joe asks, "Am I on Discord?" Yes, I am, Joe. But I don't use Discord too much. I use Gilded a little bit, but I'll be honest, I haven't used Gilded or Discord in a minute. So, Pinochet's helicopter tours. We already read his comment. Time Prophet says, is Janet and Free Speech okay? Yes, they are. So, I'm going to go ahead and take this. Go ahead, Will. I'll be right back.
yeah, and it's a shame that they couldn't join us tonight, but other matters, more pressing. We understand. Going back to that though, that was quite the experience. The things that stood out to me about that trip were obviously we were trying to stay as inconspicuous as we could. So we're going down there. Obviously, we were gonna mask up. We were gonna take all the proper precautions as far as it being an area that while it hadn't been confirmed or denied as far as we were concerned, it was. So it was hazardous. there were chemicals in the water, chemicals in the air. So we masked up. We had the gloves, you know. But then all of a sudden we get online. There's a line outside the high school to get into this town meeting. And you may have seen the highlights of the town meeting on your local news or whatever news outlet you get your news from. And we get on this line and we notice that whether it's the few and far between that are visiting to go to this meeting, the press, or the multitudes of people, I think there's about maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people that live in East Palestine that were on this line, not a single one of them was masked. Not a single one of them was gloved. So we had a choice to make. And I'm sure you've heard Drew talk about it. We knew that it was important as journalists to, stay inconspicuous. We had no choice. We took off the masks. We took off the gloves. And we ended up inside at this thing. And I have not been that kind of journalist for a while. The only time I was ever quote unquote in the shit was when I was with him and we went to Washington on January 6th, the day of the insurgents.
Yeah, which was a big joke.
Huh?
Which was a big joke.
I don't know. Like, should I put a few more air quotes in that? I only have to.
Yeah, the thing of it is and to give everybody a little inside baseball, I've been getting calls all day because it's a good thing that I have a lawyer in the midst of all this house stuff, because with it being an estate situation, it's nice to have a lawyer to navigate that. And, oh, by the way, I had to redo paperwork today because the title company in this transaction decided to try to pull a fast one and almost had my lawyer not caught it, which he caught it from a mile away in the paperwork. The title company was trying to fuck me out of $9,000 by double charging me of the tax that I owe, because we owed the state of Ohio back taxes, my mom did, on the property. And they just tried to conveniently double charge that. Hey, collect $9,000 for back taxes, collect $9,000 for ourselves. And my lawyer just put the smack down and said, no, you did this paperwork wrong. Which was nice.
They're obviously not the most in tune criminal minds because, I don't know a lot of cases where, like, if we're sneaky enough, we can scam this guy out of double what he owes us. Nothing inconspicuous about that.
Yeah, so thank God for having a lawyer. You won't catch me saying that too often, but thank God in this case. Because I didn't know that. Yeah, we don't compliment lawyers a whole lot on this show. This being the first time I've ever sold a home, period, or gone through this process, I don't know that I ever want to go through this process again. Death Angel Shadow says, yeah, everyone has an angle that they're trying to pull these days. Yep, they do. Drew, who was that? The Time Prophet said there was a train derailment the same time frame, a few miles from my house, too. It was unrelated and due to a semi-truck stalling on the track. Trinoculus P. Time Prophet said it's unusual for trains to derail in Britain. And look, Time Prophet, yes. I'll give the British government credit. You guys are a little more updated on your infrastructure than they are here. The railroads, I mean, we have done the bare minimum on the railroads since the 1800s, early 1900s when they were built. That they haven't fucked with the railroads enough. They clean them, they clean the rails and everything else, but a lot of times the mechanical issues and things like that go unfixed. because they cut corners because they don't have enough money to fix them. The government has, and it's funny, they did that huge infrastructure bill. Remember the infrastructure bill, guys? Where did all that money go? Oh, let's see, to a bunch of pork bullshit, because it certainly didn't go to the infrastructure. Because there really is a concern with the railroads, the bridges, and everything else. Commander Ed Stricker of Shadow, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. He said, I think both the Russians and Ukraine are full of shit. The U.S. should not give a penny to either party. By the way, both Russia and Ukraine greatly profit from white slaving, human trafficking. Yes, they do. That is 100% verifiable fact.
That was a fact long before the war.
Oh, yeah, that's been going on for decades.
What are we going back? Like at least our entire lives?
Well, yeah, that's been
Maybe
going on.
twice as long. I don't.
That's been going on for like ever. The white slave
Yeah.
trade, big time in Eastern Europe.
That's like giving money to raid your driver. So you can understand it. It's just
Wow, there's been 21 chemical derailments since Ohio, 3 freeway spills, and 9 building fires, all with chemicals. Crazy.
Now I want the stats from all the other states, but I want. It's okay, Joe. I'm not gonna task you with that. I'll do that on my own time.
Trinoculus says, to be fair, the U.S. rail system is huge and needs a lot of maintenance. And yeah, listen, Trinoculus, you're exactly correct about that.
You
But
don't
the
even have to
problem,
be I'm sorry, Drew. You don't even have to be polite to say to be fair. I mean,
yeah,
that's
I mean, let's be real though. The thing is okay. What money have they actually turned around and put into it? They haven't put money into it. They really haven't. Otherwise, our air system would be a lot better. The efficiency of flying would be a lot better, and that's a mess in itself. Not to mention rail and bus and every other way of getting anywhere. And the roads too.
I'm not saying that the well, needless to say, I'm not saying that the train derailment in East Palestine is a good thing, but if you could take anything from it, it did open a lot of people's eyes to the inefficiencies of rail in this country. Not to mention the fact that they weren't really as glaring down on that Norfolk Southern track in East Palestine. There was just one little thing that if they had implemented, that derailment would never have happened.
Hail, sorry I've been dealing with my health, says Ruben. Yet I'm completely now ignoring what I know about myself. I'm now going to do something big. And I call this shit out now with logic. Awesome. I am going to sell
My
everything,
favorite weapon,
go
logic.
off grid ASAP. Yep. Name one major U.S. infrastructure that doesn't need replaced or repaired. Yeah. And the fucked up thing is, Sci-Fi Nation, they let it go. That infrastructure bill was all pork. It was all pork. There was nothing to serve the citizens. It was all to put money in politicians' pockets. Resolute Germ says, in Washington, the government harasses railroad companies more than anything. When they do want to upgrade, they throw a mile of red tape and 3 times the cost in taxes and fees. Exactly. Poppycock said, who's the sick fuck who thought it was funny to make a documentary on the derailment before it happened? That white noise, the whole, how bold can you be with the predictive programming when you do like white noise and then it turns out, and not even a year later, to be the exact plot of that movie? That's fucked up. And in the same town.
Maybe
people
they
were
involved.
extras in that movie.
Maybe they were involved.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm sure the residents were.
Is anybody buying that? Me neither. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good movie, though. I enjoyed that.
No lie, all this economy stuff, global crisis, and trade derailments is literally the plot of Atlas Shrugged. Tridoculus agreeing with sci-fi says absolutely true. We're sending money around the world into this phony baloney war. Papa Cotton says we're being attacked. That's the real war. Yes. The derailment wasn't even the real problem in Ohio. It was the botched cleanup, or I would say botched cover-up.
Well, I would say one led to the other. One was the lead-in for the other. Yeah.
I will say this because we're closing in on the 8 o'clock hour, and here shortly I am about to jet, guys. It's nothing personal. I just got a ton going on, but I do want to say before we say our goodbyes, if you would like to help the channel, and believe me, it immediately will help me as well. You can always use the tip command at streamelements.com/supremeheretic/tip. That goes straight to my PayPal. If you want to direct PayPal, it's paypal.me/supremeheretic. And also, if you want to help the Give Send Go campaign, that is givesendgo.com/Taylor Home Project. We have $700 to get to the goal on that. And also, Andy Masterson threw in, if you are a fan of the Orville, I have some figurines that Andy did of Yaphet from the Orville. And I have actually 4 of those. 3 of them are up for grabs. 1 of them spoken for. Somebody got 1 of them, but 3 more of them are up for grabs. And we're going to figure out just exactly how we want to do a giveaway on those. But we are going to tie that to the Give, Send, Go and try to get over the hump. And I'm sure you guys can see where I'm coming from because, again, right now, it's a struggle. Probably, could be anywhere from the next 7 to 10 days. And I'm sitting here with, no money and no food, and I can't keep any food in the house because pretty soon I won't have the house. So I'm going to have to, just kind of eat in the street for the moment. So anything that can be done to help, I appreciate it. And even just sharing out the Give, Send, Go is a huge help in itself. So, thank you for your continued support, for your prayers, and for just patronizing the show. So thank you so much. Hail to RR! One of my favorite mods on the Midnight Prism. He stopped by United Resistance. It's great to see you, buddy. Conspiracy. A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. RR or Papa Cotton, seeing as though that you have a wrench, could you please pop the Give, Send, Go link in the chat? And thank you muchly. But yeah, folks, other than that, I will toss it over to Will for a final thought, and then we will think about getting out of here because we are at 1 hour and 3 minutes of streaming so far. Go ahead, Will.
Thank you, Drew. I would like to take a trip into the Wayback Machine for a moment. Back in 1992, let me start it this way. Whatever your feelings are on the holiday known as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is obviously also his birthday, I would like to take a trip into the Wayback Machine. As back in 1992, Super Bowl 27 was played between the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. What most of you, I'm assuming, don't know is that originally that Super Bowl was to be played at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. And the reason that it was not played at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona was because an election bill passed that denied Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a holiday in the state of Arizona. And as a result, the National Football League removed the Super Bowl from Tempe, Arizona. Now, there's one thing about that. There's one thing about that that's it's a state's decision whether or not they want to observe a holiday. Call it racist, call it what you want. But where I'm going with this is that 2 years later, or actually no, the very next year, there was a proposition on the bill to reinstate Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a holiday. As a result, the National Football League awarded Super Bowl 30, which was 3 years later, to Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. So in terms of flip-flopping, I can't think of a much better example than that. Also, keeping it local, Cleveland, Ohio, this must sound familiar. You know who you are. You know what you did.
All right. Oh, I don't acknowledge that holiday because to me it's an excuse holiday, but that's fine. So whatever.
Day off school.
Same as I don't acknowledge Juneteenth. So yeah, call me racist, whatever.
Okay.
Anyways, look, let me get down.
Okay, but and of course I knew you'd get the message. All right, go ahead.
Let me get down to the bottom line here. Look, be your brother's keeper, folks. Look after one another. Survival is key right now. We got to network. We got to stay on top of this. We got to be in touch. No matter what, be your brother's keeper. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Please, please, please. And we'll be back in a couple weeks. Joe, being the dutiful viewer that he is, he catches everything. He says, Drew, tell Will his watch stopped.
You know what's funny? My watch actually did stop. My battery died.
Yeah, they let you off on MLK Day. Yes, they do, Resolute Germ.
I lived in New York. You know how it is.
It's horrible. But listen, Sci-Fi Nation's correct. Support what you love and who you like, not what the MSM trolls say to you. Exactly. And appreciate all of you coming out tonight. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for supporting the show. It was nice for a change that me and Will got to do a double barrel together.
It's been a while.
It was good to share it with all of you. So thank you so much. And I will talk to you guys soon. I'll be back probably in a couple weeks. So if we don't have a resistance next week, no worries. I'll be back probably the week following that or definitely the week after that. So I will catch you guys on the flip when I get everything all safe and situated. And again, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Love you, man. And we will see ya.